Everyone else seems to switch off so easily. They finish work and they are done. They close the laptop and the day ends. They get into bed and they sleep. But you get into bed and your brain opens a second shift. The conversation from this morning, the decision you made last Tuesday, the thing you should have said 3 days ago, the 17 possible outcomes of something that has not even happened yet. And you lie there, exhausted, wondering why you cannot just be normal about this. Here is what psychology actually says about a brain that will not stop. It is not broken. It is not anxious. It is not something that needs fixing. It is something that needs understanding. 1. Your brain generates more possibilities than most people's brains ever consider. Here is what is actually happening when your mind will not stop. Research suggests that individuals with high intelligence or emotional awareness overthink more frequently because they can generate more possibilities and perspectives. Most people make a decision and move on. Their brain presents one or two options. They choose one, and the loop closes. But your brain does not close the loop after 2 options. It opens 10 more, then 10 more after that. It is not indecision. It is not weakness. It is a mind that genuinely sees more of what is possible than the people around you who seem to decide so easily. The problem is not that you think too much. The problem is that nobody taught you what to do with a brain that was built for more. 2. Your brain runs consequences that other people never even think to check. What looks like indecision from the outside is a mind that learned early to run the second-order consequences before answering. And decades later, it is still doing the work everyone else outsourced to gut feel. Think about what that actually means. When someone asks you a simple question, your brain does not just answer it. It runs the answer forward in time. What happens if I say yes? What happens if I say no? What does this mean for next week? What does it say about me? What will they think? What am I missing? By the time you answer, you have done more cognitive work than most people do in an entire conversation. And everyone around you just sees someone who paused too long. They call it overthinking. Psychology calls it anticipatory reasoning. And it is one of the clearest markers of a mind operating at a higher level of complexity than its environment is designed to accommodate. 3. Your brain physically cannot use the same shortcut system everyone else relies on. Most people make the majority of their daily decisions without thinking consciously at all. Their brain runs on automatic. Pattern matches, gut instinct, quick assumption, move on. Most people most of the time outsource the bulk of their decision-making to System 1 and recruit System 2 only when a situation explicitly demands it. But your brain recruits System 2 for almost everything. The analytical, conscious, deliberate thinking system that most people only use for genuinely complex problems. You use it for what to say in a text message. You use it for whether you were too quiet in a meeting this morning. You use it at 2 a.m. when you are supposed to be sleeping. Not because something is wrong with you. Because your brain learned early that the automatic system sometimes misses things. And missing things felt important to get right. 4. Your brain has a pattern detection system, so sensitive it finds signals in things other people do not even notice. Functional MRI scans show that during periods of rumination, intelligent brains exhibit greater connectivity between regions involved in introspection and threat detection. In other words, your brain is not just thinking, it is scanning, constantly. The micro-expression that crossed someone's face mid-sentence. The slight change in tone that did not match the words. The thing someone said that was technically fine but felt slightly off. Your brain caught all of it, filed it, and is now running it through every possible interpretation to figure out what it actually meant. This is not paranoia. This is pattern recognition operating at a frequency most people do not have access to. The exhausting part is that it runs whether you ask it to or not. 5. The same brain that will not let you rest is the same brain that solves things. Nobody else can. Here is the part that most people who live with an overactive mind have never been told. The cognitive processes behind overthinking, deep analysis, pattern recognition, and anticipatory reasoning are hallmarks of high intellectual functioning. The brain that replays conversations at midnight is the same brain that notices what everyone else missed in a meeting at 9 a.m. The brain that runs 17 scenarios before making a decision is the same brain that already saw the problem coming 3 steps before it arrived. The brain that cannot let something go is the same brain that solves it completely and permanently while everyone else forgot they were supposed to be working on it. Your brain is not working against you. It is working for you in a register that most people around you simply cannot hear. 6. The exhaustion is real, and it deserves to be acknowledged. Okay, let me be honest about something most videos on this topic skip over. This is not a video that ends by telling you that your overactive mind is actually a superpower and you should be grateful for it. Because that is only half true. The danger arises when overthinking evolves into chronic stress. Elevated cortisol levels from persistent mental strain can impair memory, weaken immunity, and disrupt sleep. The brain's advanced circuitry becomes a liability, like a powerful engine running in neutral. The exhaustion is real. The 2 a.m. thinking sessions are real. The decision fatigue from processing 10 times more information than the people around you is real. And acknowledging that it is hard is not weakness. It is honesty. The goal is not to silence the brain that sees everything. The goal is to give it something worthy of its attention, and to learn slowly and deliberately that not every thought that arrives at midnight deserves a full investigation. 7. The brain that will not stop is also the brain that loves more carefully than most. This is the part nobody talks about. The same mind that replays conversations looking for what went wrong is the same mind that remembers exactly what made someone smile 3 months ago and shows up with it unexpectedly. The same mind that runs consequences before making decisions runs them before saying something unkind and stops itself. The same mind that cannot let go of a worry cannot let go of a person either. Not easily, not casually, not without being completely sure they want to. People with overactive minds do not love halfway. They love with the same relentless thoroughness that they apply to everything else. And the people who are loved by them, if they understand what they have, know they have something that most people spend their whole lives looking for. Your brain is not the problem. The problem is that you were handed a mind built for complexity and never given the instruction manual. You were told to think less, to stop overthinking, to just relax, by people whose brains genuinely work differently from yours. And you spent years wondering what was wrong with you. When the more accurate question was, what is actually happening in here, and why does nobody seem to understand it? The mind that will not stop running the scenario is not broken. It is working. Probably harder than most of the minds around it, on problems those minds have already closed. You were not given a broken brain. You were given a complex one, and complex things. In the right hands, in the right environment, with the right understanding, do not need to be fixed. They need to be understood. If this felt like the first time someone explained your own mind to you in a way that actually made sense, subscribe. This channel exists for exactly that. See you next Sunday.